A man who owes his freedom to work done here at ISU is visiting campus. Good afternoon, I'm Kelly Christensen.
And I'm Amanda Piggott. Some of the work was done right here at TV10.
This is where two students edited a documentary about the man's case.
TV10's Whitney Wagers joins us live in the newsroom with more on the story. Whitney?
A man who was initially charged with attempted murder is now innocent. 50-year-old Lionel Campbell was accused of trying to run over his roommate with his truck in March of 2010. Steve Hazlitt suffered only minor injuries in the incident. The attempted murder charges were dismissed on Monday, and prosecutors moved forward with a jury trial for aggravated battery charges. After the jury met Tuesday, they said Campbell was not guilty.
Jurors in civil trials will be allowed to ask questions of witnesses under a new rule approved Tuesday by the Illinois Supreme Court. The court will allow jurors to submit written questions at the end of questioning by attorneys. The judge will read the questions to the attorneys outside of the presence of the jury, giving the lawyers a chance to object. The judge could then decide whether to go forward with all, some, or none of the questions. More than half of all the states and all the federal courts already allow this.
Some underage college students try to find ways to get alcohol.
And if liquor stores in the Bloomington area help them, they might be hit with some heavy fines.
TV10's Alexis McAdams joins us live in the studio with more. Alexis? An Illinois Wesleyan fraternity is suspended after events surrounding the death of one of their members. Freshman Brandon Landau died at Sigma Pi's annual formal at White Pine State Park last month. The preliminary autopsy indicated he had alcohol and marijuana in his system. A task force will look into if policies around off-campus social events should be changed. Fraternities and sororities are supposed to register their events, but Sigma Pi did not. This is supposed to address risk management and alcohol use. A hearing on their suspension will happen before finals.
Bloomington police invested gunshots between two groups of people last night on West Market Streets. Police say about 12 to 15 people each got into a verbal confrontation for an unknown reason at about 8:20 near the intersection of Market and Roosevelt Avenue. They separated and headed 2 blocks west before confronting each other again at Market and Oak Streets. At that point, about 2 to 3 shots apparently were fired and groups fled. Police did not find any shell casings or bullets, but several witnesses told police shots were fired. No one was injured and no arrests were made.
6 retailers in the Twin Cities and 2 in Champaign were targets for a drug operation yesterday. Operation Smokeout helps remove illegal synthetic drugs from Illinois stores. In total, over 6,000 packages that have a value of over $110,000 were handed over to law enforcement. Bloomington Normal and Champaign are targets due to college students who are tempted to buy drugs.
Normal police are investigating a Sunday night robbery at Casey's at Beach and Pine Streets in Normal. Police Chief Rick Bleschner says at about 10 p.m., someone approached the counter and gestured to the clerk to open the cash register. An undetermined amount of money was taken from the register and the robber fled on foot. The robber was described as having a heavy build and wearing a hooded sweatshirt, gloves, and jeans. Police are still looking for the suspects.
A fire at a Bloomington home resulted in about $20,000 worth of damage. Firefighters responded to a call yesterday morning at 425 Priscilla Lane. The fire was confined to the basement of the single-story home. Only light smoke was seen coming out of the doorway when firefighters arrived. The cause of the fire is still undetermined and nobody was injured.
Work gets underway this week on a $500,000 parking deck repair project. It will temporarily limit public parking outside Bloomington City Hall. Barriers started going up yesterday, blocking off the east side of the crumbling 160-space deck's top level, which sits between City Hall and police headquarters. On Friday, crews from a water blasting company will start using 25,000 pounds per square inch water pressure to shave about 1/4 of an inch of concrete from the surface. The crews will eventually switch and begin work on the west side.
A former local radio personality has passed away. 61-year-old J.D. Scott was found in his home in Bloomington yesterday. Scott used to be a radio personality at WJBC and WBNQ. He was at WBNQ from 1975 until 1998, when he moved to WJBC. He worked there until 2002. Scott was well known for his time on the air and his service to the community. Details on a suspect of a shooting at a California college are being revealed.
And it was a disastrous day in northern Texas after tornadoes ripped through the area. See how bad the damage was after the break.